There's a mineral your body is absolutely desperate for, but most of us are barely getting half of what we need. It's kind of like the silent spark that powers every single one of your heartbeats, every muscle you move. But when it runs low, well, your body sends out these quiet little warning signals that are so easy to ignore. So today, let's decode the silent signals of potassium deficiency. So, what's the magic number we're aiming for? Well, health authorities say adults should be getting around 4,700 milligrams of potassium every single day. Now, to put that into perspective, that's like eating about 10 bananas. Yeah, it's a pretty high bar, and honestly, studies show the vast majority of people don't even get close. And that leads to the really crucial question, doesn't it? Are you hitting that target? Because with our modern diets, which are often packed with sodium and, let's be real, lacking in fresh fruits and veggies, the reality is most of us are falling short. And when we do, our bodies start talking. To really get why this matters so much, we first need to appreciate what potassium actually does. Think of it as the literal spark plug for your body's most critical functions. The official medical term is hypokalaemia. It sounds complicated, but it just means your potassium levels are seriously low. And this usually happens for one of two reasons. Either you're losing too much of it, maybe through intense sweating or being sick, or you're simply not getting enough of it from your food in the first place. So, what is its main job anyway? Well, potassium is basically your body's master electrical engineer. It's what generates the tiny electrical impulses that keep your heart beating in a nice, steady rhythm. It allows your muscles to contract and relax, and it manages the super important fluid balance inside and outside all of your cells. Okay, here's where things get really serious. Your body has this desperate survival mechanism. When you're not eating enough potassium, it starts to steal it from your own bones and tissues just to keep your heart and brain firing correctly. This is that silent threat we're talking about. Your body is literally sacrificing one part of itself to save another. So how does this internal theft start to show up on the outside? Well, your body is smart. It starts sending out these little warning signs. Let's look at the most common, and often silent, signals it uses to tell you something's not right. You'll see the impact is pretty wide-ranging. That muscle weakness and those annoying cramps, they happen because your muscles are literally running out of their electrical spark. The chronic fatigue sets in because potassium is absolutely essential for converting your food into energy. Even your digestion can slow right down. And remember that stealing mechanism? That's exactly where the bone loss comes from. It's a direct result of the deficiency. Now let's zoom in on one of the biggest signals, high blood pressure. See, potassium and sodium have this kind of push and pull relationship. When your potassium is low, your body hangs on to sodium. More sodium means you retain more water, which increases the amount of blood in your vessels, and, you guessed it, that jacks up your blood pressure. So, who really needs to pay close attention to this? Well, really anyone can become deficient. There are certain things that put some people at a much, much higher risk. One of the biggest culprits is just losing a lot of fluid. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete sweating buckets, recovering from a stomach bug, or taking certain medications like diuretics. Specific health conditions, like kidney disease, also make you more vulnerable. And of course, a diet that's super high in salt constantly forces your body to play catch-up, demanding more and more potassium to try and find that balance. Okay, so we've covered the problem, we've covered the risks, but here's the great part of this story. For most people, the solution is actually pretty straightforward, it's totally accessible, and it's probably sitting in your grocery store right now. And honestly, the best news of all is this. A potassium deficiency is hardly ever a life sentence. For most of us, it's completely reversible, just by making some simple, conscious changes to what we eat. You absolutely have the power to turn this whole thing around. One of the wildest things about potassium is that your body doesn't really store it for the long haul. It only holds on to it for about 24 hours. That's why getting it in your diet every single day is non-negotiable. You can't just stock up on the weekend and call it good. It has to be a daily habit. So how do you restock your supply? Well, bananas get all the glory, and they're great for sure. But don't sleep on other powerhouses like potatoes, beans, broccoli, and even milk. The real key isn't just one magic superfood. It's about weaving a variety of these into your meals every day so you can hit that target. Okay, before we finish up, it is incredibly important that we talk about this responsibly. Getting your potassium from food is almost always safe. But supplements, well, that's a completely different story. Let me be absolutely crystal clear about this. Do not self-prescribe potassium supplements. Ever. Too much potassium can be just as dangerous for your heart as too little. You have to talk to a doctor first. They can run a simple test, confirm if you actually have a deficiency, and then guide you on the safest way forward, which is almost always through food. At the end of the day, managing your potassium levels is such a powerful way to take charge of your long-term health. It's really all about tuning in and paying attention to those quiet signals your body is sending you every day. Your heart will definitely thank you for it. So the only question left is, are you listening?